Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Silent Archer and we're going to be looking at this newly revealed MISC Starlite today. I didn't even get a breather before they released yet another picture, so that's why I'm coming up with another video just so shortly after the video I just posted. But I feel like this ship also deserves a deep dive just like the M80 did. I don't think it's going to be as long, considering there's not as much to digest. It's not as mystical of a ship. But I'm looking forward to looking at all the details, seeing what kind of specs it might have, how big it is, and, kind of speculating about interior and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe if you do. And yeah, just follow along for the ride and enjoy, basically. So initially, we'll talk about design. And I think, just like every other MISC ship, they've nailed this design. I feel like they really have nailed the design language of MISC at this point. With this red, silver, and black color scheme, and this kind of almost whale-like shape, especially from this front view here. This is a very, very classic MISC front view at this point, with this mail slot cockpit, this black underbelly with these lines right here, and these kind of side thrusters as well. That's very common for almost every single MISC ship at this point, which is very nice. I mean, I think it's great that they've really managed to find a design language for these ships to really bind them together. And one thing that could be worth mentioning with this ship is that it seems to be a refueler. I make this conclusion primarily based off of this huge tank at the back of it. It's pretty big, and it makes sense that this would be a refueler. Also because 4.8 is gonna be a lot about refueling. They're adding refueling missions to the game, so having a refueler in gold standard could be pretty helpful, so that people don't only need to fly around in the Starfarers, because those are just pretty confusingly designed and just not up to date. So I feel like it's very fitting for MISC of all brands to release a refueler, and that's cheaper. It's probably going to cost around maybe like $100, maybe 120, 150. It's going to be a starter refueler, and I think it's a great ship for people who love helping others to pick up. So it's great to see this ship make its way into the verse, along with all the other MISC ships and all the other ships in general. In general, I really dig the design of this. I think it's beautiful. It's chunky, but it's beautifully chunky. It looks a bit like some fat fish or something, which is just great. And these kind of thrusters and this little thing here kind of also resembles a kind of fin, a fish fin. So that's great. The design, nothing to complain about, really. But not a lot to digest either, to be honest. It's straightforward. It's got some engines. It's probably not going to be the fastest ship, considering the size of it compared to the engines. It's got like, what, 2 main engines and then 2 VTOLs that can also be used as booster thrusters. In terms of size, I do think it's not going to be the biggest ship. Considering this panel right here, a human is probably around this size. Or something like this, something like that. I think it's gonna be around this size, maybe even around this size. It makes sense. So it's not the biggest ship. It's probably a small or maybe medium-sized hangar for this one. But it's a fairly small ship, which is just worth pointing out, I guess, if you care about that. Turning away from design though and looking a bit more at specs, we can see that this ship has 4 size 1 weapons, I believe. I don't think they're size 2s. I've been trying to kind of find out a way to measure them, but I just have a feeling that if this guy has 4 size 2 weapons, that'd be pretty powerful. So I think 4 size 1s would be more reasonable, which is still pretty strong. I mean, compared to the Hull A, which only has 2 size 1s, I believe, or does it maybe it does have 4, but you know, it's not a combat ship, but it can put up a fight. Yeah, but it won't be the most agile ship to take on enemies with, so I wouldn't recommend fighting with it. But still, it does have a few weapons. 4 size 1s is still pretty decent. In terms of other specs, it's hard to say. I mean, it's probably gonna have like size 1 components or something like that. This is probably the refueling port, and most of the internals, or most of the components and storage lockers and stuff is definitely within the ship because of it having enough space for an interior. Though on the note of interiors, I don't think this ship is gonna have the largest interior. Considering how much of it is kind of just this fuel tank. So this is reasonably the cockpit. Let's actually just make this a bit smaller. This is probably going to be the cockpit, eyeballing it from the view, from the, you know, pictures. And that leaves this area right here to be the habitation, I guess. Habitation / engineering room. Because this is probably just engines, and this is obviously the fuel tank, so I hope they don't have some sort of torture chamber in there. Maybe they do, actually. That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, probably not. One thing that's hitting me just now is the fact that maybe there's 2 floors in this guy, because if this is the kind of upper floor, that leaves kind of a lot of space in here, but maybe I'm wrong, actually. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. Maybe there could be some components hiding away, and then there's a ladder up, leading up to the other area. Maybe that'd be surprising, actually. I'd be positively surprised if it does end up to have 2 floors, but I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't count on it, for sure not. Moving on, I think we can yeah, this is definitely the fuel tank. One thing that I've noticed is that they're probably detachable, considering these kind of clamps. Or maybe they're not, because there's clamps on this side as well. Maybe they're actually not detachable. It's actually not impossible that they're just permanently stuck to the ship. Actually, it'd make a lot of sense. It looks pretty integrated, but one thing I am also wondering is if this is a barrier. If it is, that could mean that you could have hydrogen fuel in one and quantum fuel in the other, which should be pretty nice if you could just kind of decide which kind of loadout you want to have in terms of ratio between hydrogen fuel and quantum fuel. Maybe it's just 50-50, maybe there are more barriers, more kind of settings to choose between, but I think at least 50-50, because otherwise it would be a pretty useless refueler if you could only carry one or the other, right? That can't just be me who thinks that, right? All in all, there's not much to say. Not much more to say. I love this ship. I think it looks great. It fits perfectly into the MISC lineup, but it doesn't. It's not the most revolutionary design, but I mean it's a really nice design, and it fits perfectly into the MISC lineup with the Starfarer. Yeah, well, I guess the Starfarer, but mostly the Starlancers, and it gets me really excited to see the Starfarer and the Freelancer. There are so many names now; they're just so confusing. The Starfarer and the Freelancer, I'm looking forward like hell to see those reworks, because I think that those are going to look amazing in their gold standard pass or Mark II pass or whatever it becomes. But all in all, just a great addition to the Star Citizen ship family, and I think we'll be seeing quite a few of these in the verse in 4.8 if refueling goes as well as it's said to go, as they hope, I guess. And I really do hope that refueling becomes a bigger part of the daily life in Star Citizen, because it's just great interacting with other players, and And there's something about refueling, right? Also forgot to point it out. I think the refueler beam is probably gonna stick from here. Yeah, that was a very, very weird side note, but just came to think of it. I think ships are gonna attach their beams to this, or the beam is gonna come out. I don't really know how that's gonna work. All in all, this is just a great little ship, and I'm looking forward to see it in the game. But there's not as much to say about it as the M80, for instance, because it's just not as much to digest. It's a bit more predictable and a bit more expected, which I just said. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it was maybe a little less interesting. I hope it still gave you some interesting insights. And if you did like it, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Peace out.